It's honestly hard to believe I'm even telling this story. It feels almost too wild, too manipulative, to have actually happened. But it did. My husband Daniel's mother, Patricia, intentionally sabotaged my dream job, used our son Leo as a bargaining chip, and eventually pushed us so far that we had to pick up our entire lives and move states just to find some peace. A few months before all this blew up, our life was stable. Not perfect, mind you, but really good. I was 30, Daniel was 34, and we had a 1-year-old, Leo. I had a solid job I genuinely loved, and it paid the bills. Daniel was going through a bit of a career slump, but I wasn't stressed. We were managing just fine. We were happy, or at least I thought we were, until Patricia, who's 55, decided her son wasn't enough of a man and took it upon herself to fix things. For a while now, I'd been the main earner. Daniel had tried, he really did, but with the economy, layoffs, and just plain bad luck, things hadn't worked out for him to be the primary provider. I never once threw it in his face. He was an amazing dad to Leo, he helped around the house, and he was always trying his best. But Patricia? Oh, she couldn't handle it. From the moment we mentioned our financial arrangement, she treated me like I was somehow emasculating her precious son. It was constant little digs, these fake smiles, underhanded comments like, "Must be nice having a wife who pays your bills." Just classic manipulation, always delivered with this sweet, saccharine smile. I brushed it off, thinking it was just petty stuff. Annoying, sure, but harmless. I was so wrong. Then I landed an interview for my absolute dream job. It was high-paying, had incredible benefits, flexible hours, the kind of opportunity that would give us a real financial cushion. We could finally start planning for all the things we'd put off, a new car, savings for Leo's future, maybe even a small family vacation. I absolutely crushed the interviews. Everyone I spoke with seemed excited about me joining. Then, out of nowhere, radio silence. A week later, I got a rejection email. But it wasn't just a rejection, it hinted that I had sent some extremely unprofessional messages. I was horrified. I knew I hadn't sent anything like that. A few days later, Daniel found out the unthinkable. Patricia, his own mother, had created a fake email account, impersonated me, and sent those terrible emails to deliberately tank my opportunity. Let me say that again, she sabotaged my job application by pretending to be me and trashing the company. When Daniel confronted her, she didn't even deny it. She just said it was for the greater good. According to her, if I wasn't working, it would wake Daniel up and push him to become the provider God intended him to be. Excuse me? I was stunned. I felt violated, utterly betrayed. She had deliberately crushed a life-changing career opportunity, all to play out some twisted, old-school fantasy of turning her son into a 1950s sitcom dad. And she genuinely thought I'd be grateful in the long run. Daniel lost it. For the first time ever, he actually stood up to her. He told her she was done, blocked her everywhere, no visits, no calls, no Leo. He was so angry and embarrassed, and to his absolute credit, he was 100% on my side. At first, Patricia dug in, sticking to her twisted logic. She even said she'd do it again because she truly believed it was the only way to save our marriage. But then, reality hit. Money started getting tight. I was applying to jobs nonstop, but nothing was panning out. Daniel was doing what he could, freelance stuff, odd jobs, but it wasn't enough. Eventually, he reached out to Patricia, not to apologize, but to see if she could help us out a little financially. You know what she said? "I'll help, but only if I can be back in Leo's life." She had the audacity to use our son as leverage. She acted like she was being generous, like she was swooping in to save the day. Suddenly, she was sorry. Suddenly, it was all a misunderstanding, and she didn't mean for it to go so far. Yeah, right. She just didn't expect her son's eye-opening moment to involve him asking her for cash. Now she was sending these fake sweet messages about family and healing, pretending like she hadn't gone full-Bond villain a month ago. She even started twisting the story to make it sound like she was just trying to help us get closer. Manipulator party of one. I told Daniel, no, absolutely not. If she wants to give money, fine. But she doesn't get access to Leo, or to me, or to our home. You don't get to sabotage my life and then buy your way back in when your plan flops. Daniel supported me, but I could see the guilt building up inside him. He was tired, stretched thin, and deep down, he still wanted his mom in his life. He started suggesting maybe we let her visit just once, or maybe she didn't realize what she was doing. But she did. She knew exactly what she was doing. Now I felt torn. I was standing my ground because I had to protect myself and my son. But I saw what it was doing to Daniel. We were barely getting by. We were stressed, exhausted, and I knew he hated the tension. Still, if I let her back in, what message was I sending? That she can burn everything down and be welcomed back the moment she dangles a few dollars? I didn't want to teach Leo that love comes with strings attached, or that family loyalty means forgiving betrayal without accountability. It had only been a few weeks since all that, and I thought maybe things would calm down. The good news first, I found a new job. Not quite the dream job I lost, but still a great position, decent salary, awesome coworkers. I was settling in, learning the ropes, and it really felt like a fresh start. We were finally back on stable financial ground, and the stress in our house started to lift. Daniel was thrilled, and things were slowly returning to normal. Then Patricia found out. Somehow, someone in her extended circle mentioned I was working again. And just like that, she started trying to worm her way back in. She sent us flowers, gift cards, even a ridiculously over-the-top care package for Leo. All of it went straight into the trash. I wasn't falling for her performance again. But here's where it gets worse. At my new job, we had this welcome event, a low-key meet and greet for new hires to meet partners and senior staff. Everyone was super friendly. But the day after, my boss called me into her office, looking concerned. She said someone had left an anonymous voicemail, claiming to be a concerned relative warning the company that I was unreliable and had a history of creating conflict in the workplace. I was horrified. The message was anonymous, but I didn't need a detective to figure it out. Patricia had done it again. The phrasing, the guilt-laced tone, the whole "this is for her own good" language, it screamed her. I couldn't prove it, of course. But honestly, who else would do that? None of my relatives would ever. Thankfully, my boss didn't take it seriously. She said she'd consider it fake because all my references said otherwise about my workplace behavior and performance. I told Daniel everything that night. He went dead silent for a few minutes, then said, "She's never meeting Leo again." He meant it. He hasn't spoken to her since. So, yeah, I had a job now. Things were okay. But Patricia, she'd made it very clear that she would do whatever it took to keep me from taking over her son's life, even if it meant sabotaging my career again. I started documenting everything. It hurts to know someone can be so obsessed with control that they'd rather see us struggle than see me succeed. I truly thought the last incident would be the end of it. After Patricia tried to sabotage my new job by anonymously calling my employer, Daniel, and I decided we had to go fully no contact. No messages, no visits, no chances. I blocked her on everything, and Daniel agreed. He was angry, heartbroken, and deeply ashamed that his own mother could stoop so low. We both just needed peace, and for a little while, we had it. But peace doesn't last long when Patricia's involved. About a week later, Leo's daycare called us in a panic. Someone had shown up unannounced, asking to pick up her grandson. Thankfully, the staff followed protocol and refused. When they asked for ID, the woman got flustered and left. The staff described her perfectly, Patricia. I felt sick. I don't know if she thought she could scare us or somehow rescue Leo from our home life, but either way, she crossed a huge, terrifying line. Trying to take our child without permission? That's not just controlling. That's dangerous. Daniel was done. Like, absolutely done. He drove straight to her house without saying a word to me, stayed for less than 10 minutes, then came home. I asked what happened. He said he told her if she ever came near us or Leo again, he'd involve the police. He said he saw a side of her he couldn't unsee, that she was no longer just a difficult mom. She was unhinged. Then he did something I didn't expect. He called a lawyer. He was in the process of drafting a formal cease and desist. We also updated Leo's daycare pickup list, installed a camera outside our apartment, and let close friends and neighbors know not to engage with Patricia if she showed up. I hadn't wanted it to come to this, but after that stunt, there was no question anymore. She wasn't just a manipulative mother-in-law. She was a threat. Daniel broke down that night. He kept apologizing over and over again for not seeing it sooner, for not protecting me earlier, for letting things get this far. But honestly, I don't blame him. He was hurting, too. It's hard to accept that your own parent is willing to hurt your family just to feel in control. We were safe. Leo was safe. But the damage she'd done emotionally was going to take time to heal. So now we were rebuilding, not just financially, but emotionally. And this time, we were doing it without her anywhere near our lives. Leo wouldn't grow up around that kind of chaos. He'd know what safety, boundaries, and love look like. Just when we thought things had finally gone quiet, Patricia found a new way to creep back in: handwritten letters. Yep. Old school, dramatic, scented paper, emotionally manipulative letters. She mailed one to our apartment, then another, and then one to my workplace. The tone shifted wildly. Some letters were apologetic, claiming she only wanted the best and missed her grandson dearly. Others were full of guilt-tripping, like "one day Leo will ask why you kept him from me," and "a mother's love shouldn't be punished." We didn't respond. We didn't even open most of them after the first one. Straight into a folder, just like the rest of her behavior. But it was exhausting. It was like she was incapable of respecting boundaries. She always found some way to push back in, even if we'd made it very clear she wasn't welcome anymore. We were already dealing with enough: a new job, childcare, trying to emotionally recover from everything she'd done. And now we had to deal with letters showing up like emotional bombs in our mailbox. It wasn't caring or touching. It was harassment disguised as affection. Daniel was talking to our lawyer again. If this continued, we were moving forward with filing a restraining order. We didn't want to take it there, but Patricia refused to let go. We were mentally and emotionally drained. Every time we tried to move forward, she yanked us backward into her chaos. We didn't hate her. We just wanted peace. But at this point, it felt like the only way to get that was to legally force her to leave us alone. This will be my last update, and honestly, it feels good to say that. After everything Patricia put us through, Daniel and I decided it was time to leave. We didn't announce it or talk to anyone in the family about our plans. We just packed up and moved to a different state. The decision wasn't easy, but it was absolutely necessary. We were tired of looking over our shoulders, of wondering what Patricia would do next. She had already crossed multiple lines, and after the daycare incident, we weren't willing to risk another situation like that. We found a new place in a state where we have no mutual connections with her. We changed our phone numbers, deleted old social media accounts, and made sure all our information was private and secure. We've been here for about a month now. I luckily got to keep my job. I just transferred to a new location. Daniel also found a job a few weeks after we moved. It's full-time, permanent, and something he's genuinely interested in. He's earning well and feels good about contributing again. Leo is enrolled in a new daycare. We made sure the staff is aware of our situation and provided a list of approved pickup contacts. Patricia's name is nowhere on it. We also gave them a photo of her and told them to contact us immediately if anyone unfamiliar ever comes asking about Leo. As far as we know, Patricia still has no idea where we are. We haven't spoken to her, and neither has Daniel. A few relatives tried reaching out after noticing we were suddenly gone, but we kept it vague and just said we needed a fresh start. No one in Daniel's family knows our new address, phone numbers, or where we work. We've taken all the steps to make sure she can't interfere again. If she somehow does, we already have everything documented and are ready to take legal action immediately. But for now, it's quiet, and we're just focusing on moving forward. It's amazing how much peace can come from just removing yourself from toxic chaos, isn't it?